Oh, here's another $150 anonymous donation. $50 from BioSpark45. Hey, Poexel. Looking forward to your Chrono Trigger speedrun. Good luck to all the runners, and may the RNG ever be in your favor. $50 from Anonymous Kill Dracula. Save the animals. $50 from Just Chris. Have such great memories of Castlevania 3. Glad I didn't sleep through this run. Amount goes to runner's choice. $50 from Marabu. Spam this tuna for good fortuna. $156 from Caller Duran. $1 for every hour of the marathon. Shout out to all the volunteers and behind-the-scenes folks who help make this magical event happen twice a year. $50 from Maroons. I'm faced with a dilemma. Saving the animals is canon, because they show up in Fusion. But that must mean they escape regardless of if you save them. Wait, there's a solution no one's seen. Save the kills and frame the animals. Wow, I never thought of it like that. $50 from Eric134. Nothing like working on games while watching a bunch of pros play games. Keep up the great work. $50 from Still Had All These. It's GDQ time, boys. Open your wallets for MSF and your eyes for sweet speedrun action. Save those animals. $100 from Griffin. How your backyard barbecue go, Dracula? Pretty good, it doesn't seem. $50 from James DeBard. Excited for some Castlevania 3, so please take the money from this miserable pile of secrets. And as always, save the frames, kill the animals. $75 from Dr. Doctor. Wait. Hey, all, this is an amazing event. Thanks to all the organizers and thanks to all the phenomenal players just absolutely steamrolling all these games. I promised my wife that I'll donate to Save the Animals. So here's some dough to make that happen. Save the animals, and in parentheses, please. He said the magic words. And I'm going to take a brief moment to throw us over to an interview with Chelney and Feasel.
Hello. I'm Feasel. I am here with Chelney, who just finished his run of Castlevania 3. So how did you think it went?
I think it went pretty well. I definitely have less expectations for this run compared to MM4. I find that I hold myself a pretty high standard when I play that game, so this one was a little more relaxing, actually, despite the fact that it's, a scary run a little bit. But I got some good luck, and some of my mistakes were less punishing, so it was pretty good.
So I always think of this as being a really intense game. Like it's sort of funny to me that this is your relaxation game, right? I guess Mega Man must just be that much more intense as a run, huh?
Well, I think I take Mega Man a lot more seriously than most of my other speed games. Like I've been really enjoying, like I said, entering some of the other communities and like getting to know the runs more than necessarily going for a really good time. But Mega Man is a game, especially with Mega Man 4, it's the game that I first started speedrunning with, and it's something that I want to just constantly improve. Like I don't really see myself ending my runs of that game. Like it's just, I really like the game a lot, so.
It's never going to get to the point where you're just done with it.
So it's like if there's something new, it's just going to go in, and everything just keeps getting added in and in and in. So whereas these other ones, it's like, all right, I'm okay with losing a little bit of time here and there just to get through the game in a fairly brisk pace.
So what made you take up Castlevania 3 in particular?
I had seen a couple runs of it prior. There was a while back there where Ohan was running Grant, and Ion was doing Alucard runs for when he was doing a GDQ run and stuff. So I saw the game and I was like, this game looks really good. The music is really good, really entertaining, which is a big factor for me. I'm very music orientated. I grew up playing violin and stuff like that. So melodies and stuff are really a big deal to me, and that's I think why Mega Man is also a really good series for me. And so yeah, I really enjoyed the music, and I figured I'm gonna pick this up at some point. And so when I did my blind playthrough, I was sort of trying a couple of the characters out, but I realized that 99% of the time I just played Trevor anyway, and that's just sort of how I experienced Castlevania 1 as well. So I figured, we'll start with that, because it almost feels like a Buster only run, kind of a little bit, right? Except I'm using a little more than the whip, but it's a similar kind of concept. So it was sort of what I figured I'd start with, and then I'd branch out from there.
Okay. Do you have future plans for Castlevania 3? Where are you going from here?
I would like to try a couple of the other routes for sure. I wouldn't mind trying them all, but I'm thinking Grant would be a fun one to pick up next, just because that was kind of the one that looked the most interesting. Grant's got some really cool movement tech and such, so I think at some point I would like to do that, yeah.
Okay. Well, we've got a question from Twitter here. So CB from MPLS asks, in running a slower paced game like Castlevania 3 versus a game like Mega Man 4, how is the learning and routing process and stuff similar?
It's hard to say actually in this regard, because CV3, I play a lot of my NES games on EverDrive, obviously, just to help practice. And that doesn't work with CV3. The mappers don't apply to the game. So I actually had to practice on emulator and then move that over to console. And you have to sort of adjust your inputs based on delay and stuff from emulator to console. It was a big switch. So it's kind of hard to say. Like, the slower pace doesn't really bother me. I'm the kind of person that kind of likes some little tiny breaks mid-run constantly, because it's easier to keep up with things like chat and stuff like that. Everyone always complains about things like screen transitions in Mega Man 4 and boss health fills, but like that's perfect for me, because I can actually read something in my chat and see what people are saying to me, because the games that have the fast ones, it's like I'm constantly like, oh yeah, I gotta get back to my game though. Like, so I actually don't mind it. Like those long auto-scrollers, it's like, oh, I can read a paragraph. Like, so it's not that bad, really. Like there's pros and cons to both, I guess.
Okay, I guess if this is your relaxation game, it is kind of nice to just be able to take it down a notch.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay. The next question we have is from Hodap, who asks, how close to being solved does the Castlevania community think that these games are? I guess, let's say Castlevania 3 in particular. How close to perfect are the real-time runs getting?
Honestly, I really don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question. Like, I just did my blind playthrough, like I said, back in March, so like less than a year ago, and there's really not very many runners of this game, so it's hard to really know how optimized. K-Mac does a lot of work in these games. Obviously, he's really well-known name, but like when I picked up this game, there was like 4 names on the leaderboard, and 3 of the 4 were your standard Castlevania, like K-Mac, True False, and Funk Doc, and it was like, all right, well, I'll watch these runs because that's pretty much all there was available. So it's definitely a game that I think needs more runners. I don't know if it's just the difficulty that maybe deters people a little bit, but it's a solid game. But yeah, I don't know. K-Mac is probably a better person to maybe find out from.
Okay.
He's done a lot more optimizing, whereas I felt like I was more just trying to copy as best I could.
So it's not going to be you who optimizes it down to task level then, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I've seen a task, especially not for Trevor only. I couldn't find one, so it's definitely not a ton of resources out there, but. Okay.
So how did you get started in speedrunning?
So in 2014, I didn't even really find speedrunning until probably like early 2014, and I didn't even know what it was really, other than it was a related video, an AGDQ run, couple runs, and I saw that and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and I started to get into streaming on Twitch, and my chat told me I should try Ninja Gaiden, and I didn't know what the game was, so I didn't know. I dumbly put the game in, thinking, oh, this can't be that bad, right?
Can't be that bad, sure.
I continued to play it for hours and hours, and a guy named Ancap2017 came into my channel, because he speedran the game.
Right.
And after watching me, over the next few weeks, he just sort of suggested, like, hey, maybe you should try it. Like, you're interested in it, maybe give it a try. And so Mega Man 4 was like my favorite game as a kid, and that's sort of why I started there. And yeah, it's been going ever since.
Wow. Well, you got started with some good games there. Ninja Gaiden into Mega Man.
Yeah.
So this is your second GDQ now?
Yes,
And your
second.
second GDQ run as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
So do you feel you were more prepared for it this time around? You knew what to expect, or what?
I think so, a little bit. The first one, again, was so new to the community. The only game I really knew was Mega Man 4, and so I didn't really know many people even just in the community. And so the last 2 years of branching a bit has helped make more connections with more people, and that's actually been really enjoyable too, making some more friends here even, so it's awesome.
Okay. Our next question from Twitter is from Sal Zwaslib, who asks, what is your favorite thing about speedrunning?
I honestly really like RTAing, like if that's sort of what he means. Like,
Right.
I like the studying, even if it's something so minor that it only saves a couple frames. I find it very interesting. I guess I kind of nerd out on it a little bit. Like there's definitely like some strats in games where I just look at it and go, well, that looked kind of neat, but why did he do that? And it's like, it almost saves no time, but like it's those kind of things that I really like, and I think stand top runners too sometimes apart from people who just don't think about even just the little tiny things. So I kind of like watching people and seeing what I can pick up from them.
That's cool. Those little subtle details really that make the run, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah,
And
it's
congrats
awesome.
on the run. That was a really good run.
Was that sorry?
That was a really good run. I was
Oh, yeah.
happy to see it.
Yeah, I was really happy with it, so it's good.
Cool. Well, we hope to see you back here for future GDQs.
For sure, yeah, me too.
Thanks.
All right.
All right. Well, coming up next, we've got Rondo of Blood, and I'm going to throw it over to the front.
Okay, right before we get to Rondo of Blood, I'm going to play a quick Twitch ad. Thanks for your waiting, everyone. And now we are ready for Castlevania Rondo of Blood featuring Just Defend.
Thanks, guys. So this year I will be doing Rondo of Blood. This is a TurboGrafx 16 game, but it's not very accessible. It's Japanese only, is that right?
Yeah. You're on stage 1, by the way, if you want to stage select the intro.
Okay, yeah. Let's do the prologue. All right, I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So you all just saw Trevor Belmont. We have moved on to Richter Belmont, and Richter is not going to be facing forward for a lot of this speed run.
Backflipping will be the majority of the movement in this game. Sure.
Yeah, if you whip and then you hold the whip button, you can actually move Richter forward and backwards without changing the way he's facing. And that's beneficial because he also has a backflip move, which gives him a little bit of height, a little bit of distance. And if you cancel it, the animation with a whip, you'll see he lands on the ground and you can jump almost instantly again and chain it. And every time you do that, Saves about 0.25 seconds over walking normally. So you want to do it as much as possible.
I'm going to pick up this first sub-weapon. It's going to be the axe.
Sub-weapon count in this game is really crucial because like the other classic Castlevanias, the hearts that you get does carry over to the next stage.
Yep. And the other thing that it's kind of hard, it's kind of subtle. You don't really notice it at first, but this game doesn't have double and triple shot like in the other classic Castlevania games. It's actually based on your heart count. So like right now he has 24. I believe that means he could have 2 axes on the screen at once. And if he were between 30 and 40 hearts, he could have 3. And then anything under 20 is only 1 sub-weapon. And that actually comes into play in the 3rd stage boss.
So we're going to swap out the axe for the holy water.
That's a tough strategy, getting back to that bucket and then up to the top. So remember to press R.
Thank you.
Pressing R will actually activate the item crash, which this is probably the only time you get to use it in an actual run.
Yeah.
And of course, if you guys don't know, this is the beginning. This is the prequel to Soten.
Yes.
Something like that.
That's a Hydra Storm.
That's a really good Hydra Storm.
Oh.
Ooh.
So dropping a cycle on this guy, having to do an extra cycle is like 4 to 5 seconds, something like that. So not a huge deal. Another thing that we didn't mention is this game has branching paths, and a couple of screens before the boss, JD broke a wall instead of going through a door. And taking the alternate levels up until stage 5 is actually faster than beating the regular stages.
And also, every boss will do a desperation attack. It will not kill you, except for stage 6. The boss rush.
Yeah.
attack.
You want to take as much damage as possible because from the desperation attack, because it counts your life down at the end of each stage for points, and the less life you have, obviously, the less time that takes. So it's only a matter of fractions of a second, but it adds up. And if you're sitting there wasting time while the boss is dying, there's no reason not to. So this is another stage with a branching path. You're going to see JD jump seemingly to his death, but actually there's a boat down here. And I don't know if you caught it, but when he landed, he was still holding the whip button. And similar to how you're walking backwards with the moonwalk, you can actually walk the boat while the guy is talking, the ferryman is talking to you. Normally you'd have to wait for the text to disappear. So this stage does have a boss that would take you to normal stage 3, but if you take the boat, you actually just go straight to the graveyard. You don't have to fight a boss.
And it's a pretty simple auto-scroller right here. So, but you do need to avoid taking damage from the mermans. That's why Just Defend is actually crouching, because if you take damage, you actually kind of stay still, as opposed to when you're standing, you do take a knockback, which sometimes does knock you into the water.
Or through the boat,
boat.
If the game decides.
Yeah, this whole sequence is sort of a callback to Castlevania 2. Fireman with the merman coming out of the water.
Yep.
We have time for a quick donation if you would like.
Sure thing. We have a bunch. We have $30 from Foolish Monkey, who says, always fun to see what games GDQ can throw my way that I don't normally watch. Thanks for a fun week. We have $15 from Anonymous, and he says, thanks for the great entertainment as usual. Can't wait for the Mega Man block.
All right. So Just Defend has the axe here. He'll use it majority of the time until he gets the most OP weapon in this game. It does a lot of wonders, especially what you see right there, getting all 3 hits on the big skull.
Made a small mistake there, but it's all good.
You could have saved the maiden down there.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump here to manipulate this guy to jump over me.
Yep. Otherwise, he'll karate kick you. and that's no good. So there's another alternate path here. If you break one of these spike balls, it breaks the floor beneath. You can go to the stage 3 boss, or a different stage 3 boss.
And Josephine could take damage there. It doesn't take damage there because it opens the new path, so it's a good way to get to the next door.
Yeah, you just kind of boost off of it, and it throws you into the door. So this is the boss I was referring to when, you know, the double shot mechanic comes into play, because you want to be able to, like, since he's mostly towards the top of the screen, the axes take quite a while to come off the screen totally. So it's nice to have, you know, enough hearts to be able to throw 2 axes at a time at him.
Yeah.
So you can kill him quicker.
Richter with the moonwalk.
And that was a really good fight.
It really is.
Thanks.
Good fight.
That fight can go really wrong if you are in a bad place with the fire that he spits out. If you're not in a place where you can... That was so dangerous. Oh my god. If you're not in a place where you can constantly throw axes, that fight can go south pretty quickly.
Indeed. All right. So stage 4 here, he's going to be dodging the birds, the frogs, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. And it's going to be a really foot race into this being later on. He will be facing a lot of different frogs coming up and a random amount of skeletons that will be popping up randomly, like that one right there.
Their spawns are actually set, but it's random. Like sometimes when you scroll their spawn on screen, they just don't spawn. And I've never really figured out why. This screen in particular can be really volatile. You can save ridiculous amounts of time by just getting 0 skeleton spawns and jumping over all the frogs. And then this screen is
is really the foot race right here.
yeah, this is where you see the advantages of being able to whip cancel your backflips. You're basically just outrunning all the birds carrying the flea men.
Ooh.
And that's the mechanic that we covered in stage 2, where if you're ducking and you take damage, you don't take any knockback. You saw that there. If you don't whip cancel your backflip, you are in what is considered a ducking state. You're kind of sliding backwards. And if you take any damage in that time, if you like slide into an enemy, you just take the hit and then you can immediately regain control of Richter. So that's really nice abuse of that mechanic on that screen.
All right. Right here, Josephine just picked up the most broken sub-weapon in the game, mainly because it does a lot of full screen damage. And right over here, this is where this is pretty much Dolahan's big weakness. Even though you get cursed, it slows down the hit. It slows down the animation of the Bible, so he gets more hits on the Dolahan, which really kills himself at the end. So yeah.
Nice fish out of water. Yeah, so the Bible's really useful, especially in stage 5. So
Yeah.
you don't want to die.
You don't want to lose this Bible here, really.
You can't get another one until 6.
Indeed. Stage 5 is actually one of the beginning of a lot of different runs, because this is where most runs die, especially if you're doing PB attempts or even world record attempts.
Yeah.
So
There's a huge luck element coming up on the next screen. There's a bunch of floating weapons and a glowing sword. And the only way to progress is if you kill the glowing sword. But the sword can just, wow.
that's a really
perfect.
good one.
Very
right
nice.
there.
So that thing can just float above you, and you can't hit it, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Indeed.
Because the Bible won't kill. The only thing that kills it is the whip. So
Indeed. Now, right over here, it's the painting.
if you jump into this painting, it's an instant death.
It's really an instant death, indeed. But, with the Bible there, it really does a lot of work. That's where you see it a lot.
Nice. And here for that door transition, actually, the ship is moving up and down, as you can see here. It won't transition you unless the ship is all the way at the bottom. And so he actually happened to time it perfectly, such that it was at the very bottom when he got to the door. So that was pretty nice. All right. Oh,
Ooh.
that could have been really cool.
That could have been indeed.
So this is like one of the most dangerous screens in the game. As you can see, it's like those giant ogre guys. You want to successfully boost off of them, but you also have to worry about the flea riders.
Yeah, they spawn really random as well. So it does like messes up a lot. He misses that leap of faith right there.
Is that's what he was trying to, he was whipping and trying to turn himself around so that he could make that long jump, but that's okay. He got the invincibility drop at the end. That's what matters.
Yeah, there are random drops in this game, but it's very uncommon.
And the nice thing is if you accidentally pick up another sub-weapon, it's like Soten where it drops your sub-weapon and you have like 3 seconds to pick it up before it disappears again. So, this is by far the hardest part of the game, this boss fight. His movement's random, the sight spawns are random, and it's just obnoxious.
It is obnoxious because there's absolutely no way to actually manipulate like the spawn of the sights.
This is really good though, keeping him, if you can manage to keep him under the sail, then the sights will only spawn like there, or like off screen. So that was actually a really good phase 1.
Really good.
Now phase 2, he has to dodge all of the skulls. Okay, if he takes a hit from one of the skulls, he fires 5 more. You won't move into phase 3 unless you do it without taking a hit.
That might be too early.
Yeah, that's all right.
Come back.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Very nice.
Pretty good.
Good backup. And there he goes.
He deserves it.
He does.
He does.
Absolutely.
It's very gruesome.
He made a huge mockery at stage 0.
I was caught sleeping. Sorry.
He was relishing in the fact that he got through stage 5 without a death,
Exactly.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
By the way, like that's a really good feeling.
So we have a cutscene here. If you want to read some donations, it's a great time.
Yeah,
Sure
about
thing.
2 minutes.
We have $20 from Mr. Swede. Hey, Mr. Swede here. Best of luck, Chelney. Shows Dracula some Canadian hospitality. You know, vampires can be quite a pain in the neck, but on reflection, they're really not that scary. All right, we have $50 from Zarlil.exe, donating on behalf of my amazing boyfriend who got me into watching GDQ. Thanks to all the other donors, runners, and all the volunteers. Keep doing all that you do.
If you watch closely, you'll see Dracula have an 8-foot arm as he grabs her face.
Yeah. Just a quick thing. If you start a brand new file, a new game file, that's that 8-foot, man. Just to say, if you start a brand new file, you cannot cut this cutscene, so you have to actually watch it. If you do play like later in the game, if you actually go through like the main stories and actually unlock other characters like Maria, like that scene will not exist. Or even if you play over the stage again, they'll definitely cut that scene off. So.
Yeah, it's a very uncomfortable scene.
Yes. Shaft shows up and says, "We have an intruder in the castle."
Yep.
We have $50 from Ken McDowell. He says, hey guys from sunny SoCal, have to donate for my favorite Castlevania game. Love to see a Ralph C. Belmont only run, or Trevor Belmont. We have $40 from Adam35. Another amazing SGDQ. Loving what I'm seeing so far. Can't wait to spend the next month catching up on YouTube. Best event ever. Thank you, charities, organizers, and runners.
All right. So we got here stage 6 here. This is actually the boss rush, where you'll be facing a lot of the enemies from CB1.
Yeah, CB1 and CB3. There's gonna be 4 fights, and then you have to fight Shaft. You might recognize some of these familiar characters, but this is especially where the Bible comes in handy. It slays all of them very well. Nice, you got the walk right strat. Nice, good fight.
Nice.
That one's really tricky. You have to, the bat kind of moves based on where Richter is, so you have to position yourself properly.
Nice thing.
Oh, you get the scream skip. When you kill her, she makes a really loud scream, but
Yeah, if you haven't noticed, the Bible takes 3 hearts instead of 1.
yeah, that is.
All right. So throwing the Bible there will take care of the banishes that he will throw. So that way it'll cover everything and you won't get damaged for it.
Yeah, he throws out a bunch of bandages, and it can get really hairy really quickly.
All right. So Frankenstein over here pretty much likes to grab people.
Yeah, his attacks are pretty predictable, so that segment's pretty easy. Now this is really by far the hardest part of this stage is the shaft fight. What we want to see here is him teleporting to the left
Yeah.
first, because that means he'll get a few more Bible hits. Now he goes through a three cycle pattern before repeating, and you'll see it's
They got the badge spawn.
it's not the worst,
not
but
the worst.
it's
But yeah.
a little more precarious because you're going to be in the fight a little longer.
Yeah. But yeah.
When you hit him, he teleports, and if you let him, hang out for too long, then he switches patterns. Nice.
Nice.
Killing him before his third. Don't take a hit.
Yeah, no. He's actually this is one of the desperation attacks that you do actually die.
It is the only one.
It's the only one.
But yeah, killing him before the third phase means that's about as good as that fight will go without a right spawn, or a left spawn, I mean.
Yeah, I was hoping to save some of my hearts there, but I really wanted to finish that fight off because I was really low in health.
Yeah, that was a good call. And if you die on Shaft, you don't have to fight the first 4 bosses again, but if you die at all in the first 4 bosses, then you have to start the whole thing over again. So coming into stage 7 here, we've got a really obnoxious first segment where you're being chased by bats. I don't know how you do this without backflip whip canceling.
Man, the sword bats are like really, really obnoxious.
Look, we
Oh.
got it. We in there.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. If it gets really worse, the Bible really does help, but you definitely do need to get as much as you can, especially during the middle of the stage.
Luckily, there's plenty of wall meat, and actually another Bible if you die here,
Yes.
and hearts too.
And
which is
hearts
good.
indeed.
You're gonna see a little skip coming up here where if you moonwalk into where the gear meets the other cog, you can just kind of walk through it. Oh, you don't even have to moonwalk.
Yeah.
You have to be careful here though, because water skeletons. There's tons of hidden things in this game, like even just that little wall meat there. That's really nice touches from the developers. And also 4 maidens that you can save, including the one you saw in the cutscene, Annette.
So I'm going to do a little shortcut here using the backflip, the extra height I gained.
Yeah, walls are just a suggestion. Richter can just kind of poke parts of his appendages through walls, like that.
Yep. So he's going to take the damage boost here to get to that part so he could actually get really close towards the part of the game.
Okay, good. Your health. I'm not sure your health would have been good for that. All right, nice.
That's a really good one right there.
The hardest trick in the game, probably, besides killing death, of course. That's like you have like 2 pixels, a 2-pixel window to backflip up to that area. Otherwise, you have to do like a 20-second roundabout way to get up to that staircase. And more hidden wall meat.
Yeah. Coming up right here, you're going to see the Revenge of Shaft. The fight could actually be really one of the easiest or the hardest.
Yeah. So it's hopefully going to try and keep him in a loop, but it can get a little dicey.
Yeah, I'm going to open the fight by throwing a Bible, and there's going to be some bats that spawn at the top.
Hopefully they don't hit him. Yeah.
Hey, countdown.
Look at this juggle. Oh, baby.
When's Marvel?
When's Marvel? Right after this, dude. Very nice. All right, so you may recognize this from the beginning of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This is what they called bloodlines, but this is what they meant. The final stage of Rondo of Blood.
This fight here, you could actually try to get a 4-cycle right over here, getting 4 hits on track for every Bible, 3 from the book and 1 from the whip itself.
Looking good so far.
Really good.
First 2 cycles are good. 3 cycles.
3 cycles. And that's actually a really good spawn right there for the 4th hit.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and that's better than the TAS. TAS does 5 cycles.
All right. Having Dracula spawn on the right side gives the book a better arc to get more hits in it.
Yeah, it actually like spawns higher if you're facing to the right than if you're facing left, which is silly, but
Yes. That lag.
yeah.
But it does help though. Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Nice.
Nice.
Good save.
Good save indeed.
All right, time will end when he grabs the orb, just like Castlevania 3. That was a good save. Did not.
It's a good thing I had all that life, dude.
Time. And he got the backflip. Very nice run.
Thank you again for watching Rondo of Blood. This is a very sort of underappreciated game, mostly just because it's it's not really accessible here in the States. But yeah, if you can play it on an emulator or something like that.
Or on Wii Virtual Console.
Wii Virtual Console indeed.
Check it out. It's this game is awesome.
It is. So what was the time?
I see it 23:01.
23:01. Nice.
That's pretty good.
Very nice.